This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, it's Friday, June 24th. We're going to call the Board of Review to order. Roll call, Chris, please.
President Kardowski. Here. Trustee Paul.
Present, and I'm very lonely down here.
Trustee Kubaki.
And we're going to keep it that way. Yes, yes, I'm here, yeah.
Trustee Zerval is excused. Trustee Krieger.
Here.
Trustee Flukie.
Here.
Trustee Service is excused, and the clerk is here.
Okay, action on the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approve the minutes from June 3rd, 2022, the regular meeting of the Board of Review.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5 will verify the mandatory training requirements specified in section 70.46 subsection 4 Wisconsin statutes have been met. Chris, if you could please verify that for us.
Yes, we've met the mandatory training requirements. I took the training. Trustee Paul, Trustee Flukie, and Trustee Service also took the training.
Thank you. Any questions for Chris on that? Okay. Item number 6, review the completed assessment roll and recognize the signed assessor's affidavit. I believe the assessment roll is right in front of Chris. If anybody would like to take a look at it, is everything in order, Chris?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Would anybody like to look at the assessment roll? I wouldn't mind taking a look at my property in there.
Okay.
Just come up.
Come this way.
Thank you. Anybody else want to take a peek?
Does it show you still live there?
Shows we still live there, yes. And I'm still married too, that's amazing, okay. All right, then we will go on to item 7, hear objections and deliver final determination to each property owner. Chris, do we have any objections today to go over?
I just want to go back. Do we need a motion on that?
Oh, for the
Approve.
assessment roll?
Approve the
Yeah.
assessment rule?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, sorry about that. How about a motion, please?
I move to approve the assessment rule. Second.
Moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Chris. So then we will go to 7. Hear objections and deliver final determination to each property owner.
We do have one. This is the case of American Family Insurance. The agent, and I apologize, I'm not sure which one you are. Daniel Willard. Okay, Daniel Willard is here from DeCharm? McMillan and Associates. They're out of Indianapolis, Indiana. The property in question is 3500 Packerland Drive, parcel number VAAA2. It's commercial. The 2022 value land is $2,218,100. Improvements is $11,895,700 for a total of $14,113,800. Will the objector and any witness to this case please rise and raise your right hand and respond in kind to the following? You're going to do assessor too? Oh, you do it separate?
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony which you shall give in the matter now on hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And the assessor? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony which you shall give in the matter now on hearing shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Thank you. At this time, will the objector, for this case, can you state your name and address, and then we can move forward?
Yes, my name is Daniel Willert. Address is 9229 Delegates Row, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46250.
What? However you want to.
For the record, why don't we get, Paul, why don't you state your name and last name, just for the record, and
Sure.
job title?
My name is Paul Diener. I'm the assessor for the village of Ashwaubenon.
Because you were put under oath, we just want to be clear for the record. I think that's good. That's fine.
So, should the assessor start or the objector? I think typically the objector would start.
Objector would start.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know if everyone has copies of these yet.
We don't have anything.
Thanks, Dan. No, go ahead. I'll keep going. Dan, if you have extras, I'll take one. If there's extras, thank you.
Thank you.
I guess while those are being dispersed, just for the record, I spoke with
Thank
Mr.
you.
Willer prior to him appearing today. We did verify that he was legally authorized to act on behalf of the LLC, the owner of the property. It's kind of a complex kind of web of going about of how he was to appear today, but we did verify that he is legally allowed to appear as an agent.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Willard.
All right, thank you. Yes, as the village attorney stated, I am actually authorized through the property owner by way of American Family Insurance, who is our client. We represent them on all of their assessment matters across the country. This particular office, caught our eye with the value placed on it and the current conditions in the market, and then the actual use that American Family has in the property at the moment. So the first page of what was just passed out is just the salient facts of the property. It's an approximately 145,000 square foot single tenant office building constructed in 2000. It's fully occupied by American Family. And then it has the assessment history below that. The second page, we ran through sales comparison, meaning we researched sales of comparable properties. Obviously, with the village being a smaller municipality, we had to expand our search parameters, and we had to go, basically look throughout the entire state of Wisconsin. So there were 6 fee simple sales, meaning they were unencumbered by long-term leases or build-to-suit leases that we found. We made certain adjustments due to size and year built to make the comparables more similar to the property. And then after that, you analyze basically the adjusted sale price per square foot. You can tell that the gross adjustments are all very minimal. I want to point out sale number 6 in Milwaukee. That is a former American Family Insurance building. They sold it to Generac in July of 2021. So it's, in my opinion, it's a very similar and relevant comparable. You can see my value reconciliation is slightly above the average and median sale price indicated. That's mainly just being conservative of where, eventually we think, an appraisal might land as of 1/1/21. That's in line with the adjusted sale prices of sale comps 1 and 2, which had the least amount of gross adjustments. And then the third page, the next step we looked at is from what's called an income approach. Basically, what would this property lease for as of 1/1/2022? I'm sorry, I think I said 21 earlier. As of 1/1/22. So again, we had to, we found a couple leases in the Green Bay area. So again, with a building of this size, it's just tough in a village of this size. There's really not much like it. So 4 comparables were found. Again, the same adjustments were made. And then a rental rate of $18 a square foot, full service gross was reconciled, meaning that lease rate includes all expenses, utilities, maintenance, everything. So they don't have any other, the tenant's not paying any other expenses. The next page is our pro forma, which essentially runs through how all of the expenses are allocated and spent and where the income comes from. A vacancy and collection loss is attributed to the property. Basically, what the property owner has to do is anticipate that at some point the property will become vacant. It's perfectly acceptable in the appraisal world to claim this line item in a pro forma. So we'd reconcile that at 15%, and that is supported by the next few pages from certain market surveys such as Marcus & Millichap, Colliers, JLL, CBRE, and CoStar. So the Marcus & Millichap, Colliers, JLL, and CBRE surveys are more for the Milwaukee metro and suburban area. So I didn't give those much weight just because it's a completely different market. They don't, unfortunately, publish market surveys for the Green Bay market. So CoStar, which is a real estate data service, they compile all sales and leases across the country. They do compile data for the Ashwaubenon submarket, and they are showing the vacancy rate for the offices at roughly 14.4%. So that's how I reconciled the 15%. And then back to the pro forma just runs through the typical expenses, typical expense ratio for an office of this type, roughly 40% or slightly under that. So that once you extract out the expenses, you have a net operating income of approximately $1.4 million. We reconciled a base cap rate of 10%, and then that's just supported by a Realty Rates market survey as well as the CoStar survey. So again, the Realty Rates really only shows the Milwaukee market. Again, not very comparable, so we relied on the CoStar Ashwaubenon submarket data, which showed a 10.3% capitalization rate. And since the property tax expense was not included in the other expenses, you do what's called loading it. So you just add it to the base cap rate for an overall cap rate of 11.87%. And then you divide that by the net operating income, and the capitalized value is approximately $11.5 million. So after considering all of our data that we looked at, I felt that the income data was the best supported. And so I am asking for a revised assessment of $11,466,600. Now, one thing I do want to mention, because I did share it with the assessor prior, is that there is an appraisal from 2019 on the property, but I can't enter it into evidence because I don't have the appraiser here to testify to it. But if anyone wants to take a look at it, I have it. It renders a value of $12,090,000 in 2019. And it had to be disclosed on the objection form as well. So I do have a copy if anyone wants to see it.
What was that number again?
$12,090,000.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question, please? You keep referring to the property in Pewaukee at the lowest rate. How long was that property empty before it sold?
I don't know how long it was empty, but it was on the market for roughly 11 months. I don't know how long it was empty.
Because sometimes that's where those prices come in, is because it's been empty for a long period of time. Large companies want to get it off their books. What do? Dump it.
Right.
Mr. Willard, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, not at this time.
Any other questions of Mr. Willard? So at this point, Paul, if you'd like to go ahead.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. You never got a copy of that? Oh, okay. I think JC had sent that to you.
So if you look what I've highlighted, Village of Ashwaubenon is currently in a maintenance year. And the DOR is very direct lately, especially post-COVID and moving forward, that during the maintenance year with assessments, you're not allowed to make adjustments for the market. There's specific reasons. And if you read it on number 1, I have highlighted, during the maintenance assessment, the assessor should make updates for new construction, demolition, or changes in classification. A maintenance assessment does not update assessments to full value. And if you had heard his testimony prior, Dan's, he's doing everything as of 2022. He's looking at everything as of 2022. I understand that. I don't know if I necessarily agree with his numbers. Larger buildings, obviously, like that, you know, there's examples of they tend to increase or appreciate more slower. Throughout other areas, throughout Milwaukee, Pewaukee, or wherever, their commercial class may differ, or they do differ, obviously, greatly compared to Ashwaubenon. According to the Department of Revenue, based on our last revaluation in 2018, we were at 100%, you know, is that market value. Since then, with COVID, you know, COVID involved in everything, the commercial class has gone up. It's increased 8.34%. And reaching out to the DOR and our own internal analysis shows another 3 to 5% this year. The DOR currently is more towards, Department of Revenue's, more towards like a 4% increase. At the time of the valuation back in 2018, we were felt we were being conservative with it. And we were looking at about triple net, about $8 a square foot, and around a cap of 8. That was at the time. You know, today I would say maybe the cap would arguably be higher, I would say. But I try to look at it a lot of different angles too. So I wanted to do the price per square foot. You know, I wanted to see, because if we're looking at it, just to kind of justify my numbers, and we have to make sure we maintain equity within the village too. Similar with hotels, you can't lower one, you got to lower them all. Similar with this, you can't adjust one. No office buildings, no one has been adjusted in the village of Ashwaubenon since 2018. No one. The subject property, the average price per square foot is $97 a square foot. He had that on his too, I think it was $97.33. The overall, but it is bigger, you know, the price per square foot goes down, obviously, as it's bigger. The overall average is $127.11 per square foot. So given the fact that I felt conservative and, you know, I had an $8, at the time the income we received showed $8 a square foot rent, and it was agreed upon at that time too. We had discussions with, I don't know if it was Jesse Galloway or someone else. I think it was someone named Bill from a representative, but that was agreed upon, and they knew that was a fair, good value. So, given our previous assessment, I feel it's fair and equitable, would be the main thing, and I would ask the board to uphold my assessment.
So can I ask you, Paul, what was the assessment in 2018 when we did a reassessment and it was at 100%?
That's where it's currently at.
That's where it's current. So it's been the same since 2018?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Once we did the reval, we haven't changed.
Okay.
And that was based on, Paul, on $8 a square foot, you said, in 2018?
$8 a square foot, $8 a square foot triple net rent. And I had to speak with Mike because I personally didn't value this, and it was at a cap of 8%. And that was just the information we had at that time for that market, which is what we were required to do by law.
So then, because this is a maintenance assessment this year, commercial properties were not adjusted, and it is still based on the 2018 assessment.
Correct.
Okay, and then you're saying, how much is the square foot now? You said
The square foot, the price
10
per
something?
the price per square foot. Well, there's two ways of valuing that I was speaking of. We were looking at the income, which was set at $8 a square foot rent, and then I kind of shifted on you, and I did a construction cost per square foot of $97,
Okay.
roughly. And searching for sales, I didn't feel any sales that I was comfortable with, given the uniqueness of this building. It was very difficult to find. The one I did look at, which was in your appraisal, I don't know if it was in what you submitted, but the Capital Credit one on West Main, that was a low sale. It was dark. There's no active tenant. There's very little parking. It's a very pretty building, but it's kind of a hokey setup. So using that as kind of the only one I could find. And you're looking at larger buildings, so I'm trying to look, we all know of AMS, or many people do in Howard, where that one is, they don't know what to do with it. There was no active tenant. There still isn't, and that was something that was also previously discussed. So there's no comparables I'm comfortable with to look at the sales comparison approach. I like to keep it closer. I think Village of Ashwaubenon is unique. It's different.
That's why Capital Credit Union bought that building, is because they got a really, really good deal
Yep.
on it. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys got,
Any other questions from the board, or Paul, anything else to add?
no, just ask that you guys uphold my assessment. I feel it's fair and equitable.
I feel it is fair and equitable the way you've done it, Paul. It's maintained the same since 2018. I can understand their issues too. Big buildings like that are not occupied anymore. Their vacant properties for sale, I noticed. They're all going through that right now. It's not a hidden fact that huge buildings like that, we got one over in a neighboring community here that's empty and vacant, and they don't know what to do with it. So, but I feel as though you've done your job, Paul. I think it's fair to say that it is valued at the right property. If this is the time, I am going to make a motion to deny the claim.
Motion made. Any second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And then I have the notice of determination for you here.
Great.
Just sign my copy saying that you received it, and then this is your copy. Thank you.
I don't know how much more you have to do.
Thank you, sir. Anything else to come before the board? Otherwise, I would welcome a motion to recess the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Recessed at 9:27. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, sir. Well, should we take a motion to convene back in?
So move.
Second, anyone?
I'll second.
Moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I want to do the one that adjourns.
2 minutes, Gary. Paul, thank you for being here and giving us the information we needed to
Thank you.
successfully do our board of review.
Thank God there's a calculator on here so I can do math.
Right there.
Doing the square footage calculation on my phone. I was doing the difference.
Okay, if I could have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second, please.
Second it.
Moved and second to adjourn at 11 o'clock. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
This